And now making sure everyone online can hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know. Let's see if this one. Everybody hear me online? Well, hello, hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Okay, well, I'm gonna assume that you guys can hear me because based off of what I'm seeing on my side, it looks like you guys should be able to hear me. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and begin. If you can't hear me, please drop that in the chat. But I want to go ahead and get started for those of us who are in person today. So, alrighty, ladies, thank you for joining us for orientation or KWB Keys to Success. Predominantly what we're going to be doing today is we're really actually just going to be highlighting kwbresources.com because that's going to be a primary resource site for everybody. And I want to make sure you guys know exactly where you can find everything available to you as an agent in our office. And I do apologize because normally at our old office, this station was kind of up front, so I wasn't off to the side, but this way you guys can have a clear visual of what we're going to walk through today, and you guys can just kind of follow along through the screen here. But in essence, our KWB or KWB resources page is literally called KWB resources. So it's very easy to spot and to remember. When you guys do arrive at the page, the first thing we'll take a look at today is this new agent button. And under this new agent button, you'll see that we do have options on different buttons on the left and right hand side. If you were to select this learn more button on the left, it really just overviews the onboarding process with which both of you are completely through. Yay. Congratulations. So really this is just detailing what you could have expected or what you can expect as part of that process, who will be reaching out to you and at what point in time. And then everything else down here is really just relevant to what you can begin doing immediately. The reason we like to talk about that is you guys actually are well on your way to accomplishing everything. Just starting by attending this meeting in general. Being here, familiarizing yourself with the website and also attending this office meeting is a great thing that you guys can jump right into, and I appreciate you both for doing it. There's also some additional meetings and trainings you're welcome to jump into using our office calendar, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. The other things that I will recommend you guys checking out is our Ignite program, and that's something we'll talk about when we reach the calendar. And also, lastly, we do have a couple Facebook pages that I'll share with you guys as well that I do encourage you to participate in and join at your convenience. On the right-hand side here under basic training, if you were to select the learn more button, you will go to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. So Scott Leroy Marketing, for those of you who don't know, is actually that third-party marketing consultant that created your email address, your website. They've already done a lot of assistance with getting your technology off the ground for your opportunities within Keller Williams. When you arrive to their page, I really just try to highlight a couple different things on this website, although you could spend plenty of time just on this site alone. The few things that I like to highlight just for pointing it out for your reference, the first thing, and only because we happen to arrive at that page, is actually going to be this search on SLM feature. You guys can pretty much search just about any keyword. You guys could search about any keywords that you wanted to in order to start populating different articles or maybe videos that could be helpful in regards to your KW technology. The reason and the example I always give is actually QR codes, which I stuttered with earlier. If you guys are interested in ever creating a QR code, but you've never done it before, you're not quite sure how to go about that process, it's very simple. You actually can use Scott Leroy Marketing. This is a free resource for you as a partner with our office and subsequently a partner with them. When you do search for QR code in that little search bar, it'll bring up a quick and easy form that you can fill out. It's just asking you, what did you want to link this QR code to? So give them the URL to the site, give them your name, your email address, and that's about it. That's all they need. And they can get that QR code generated and back to you within about an hour. So very helpful if you guys wanted to include that on print marketing or anything similar. On their site as well, the other things I like to point out The first of which has recently changed, so I apologize, it's going to be one extra step. But this agent resources button, if we select that, it's going to ask us for our market center number. And our market center number is going to be 350. And goodness gracious, I will never remember this keyboard sitting up here now. So you'll type in 350, which that is a number you'll see repeatedly during your time here. Once you've typed in 350, you'll notice that now this agent resources button is a drop-down menu. So once you utilize the drop-down menu, you'll see under training, there is a training calendar option. I always like to share this with you guys because I understand that as agents, you sometimes have more complex schedules, some of you more than others. And with that being said, I want to make sure that you guys are aware of all the available resources for you to get a lot of that training. So once you arrive at Scott Leroy Marketing, you've gone to their training calendar, you can actually scroll down and you'll see here that they offer live Zoom trainings on the tech setup. And that's 1 to 2 o'clock Monday through Friday. The reason I like to share that is because we do offer phenomenal tech trainings in our office. There's predominantly on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2, and they vary on the different topics that Jules and Leah will be covering. So, in the event that maybe Jules and Leah just talked about Facebook ads last week and you missed it, but you're getting ready to create your own for the first time and you just want a little more assistance, you're welcome to supplement your tech training by visiting their calendar and seeing if maybe that's a topic they'll be sharing on anytime soon. You can then fill in with that information and you can go ahead and get that ahead of making the Facebook ad, even though it wasn't run directly through our office. I also like to point it out because I know that sometimes Tuesdays and Thursdays genuinely just don't work well for people's schedules. Maybe we've got to pick up kiddos. Maybe we've just got another job that we're working through. With that being said, sometimes it just means that those days are a little off limits for people. So I wanted to make sure that you also knew there were Monday, Wednesday, and Friday options available as well, just around the same time frame, but that way you guys could get additional training. And I will scroll up here and then underneath the store feature, actually, if you just click right on it, it will take you to agentstore.com. And the reason I like to share Agent Store with everybody is because this is where you guys can expect a great resource to order any business cards or name tags or similar things of that nature. And the reason, again, behind sharing all of this information with you is mainly because I want you guys to be aware. Sorry, I'm wondering if this mic is truly just not working out for me today. Is this the one? Wow. Is it echoing in here? Do you guys hear that above you or is that in my own head? Okay. That's what I thought. I mean, it's okay though. Is it better now? It's not on the ceiling now, right? Okay, that's what I thought. It was like in the middle of the toggle and I was like, no, really, it shouldn't be doing that yet. Okay. So I feel a little bit better. This mic seems like it's got a little more battery life in it. So the reason I share Agent Store with you guys is mainly because I know that that's a big question I get asked a lot of the time, and that is, where can I get business cards? Do you guys provide business cards? And unfortunately, they're not provided as part of your onboarding package. But what comes with our partnership through Scott Leroy Marketing is access to Agent Store. And Agent Store does offer some pre-done templates, so it's very easy to say, I'm with Keller Williams, I'm with specifically Keller Williams Ballantyne, and it will auto-populate a lot of our information into the fields that are already displaying. Then you can go ahead and backfill with your information about your contact info, your name, include a headshot if you'd like to, but really it's just an additional opportunity for you guys to get those business cards ordered. The reason I like to share that is not everyone is super, super creative and wants to really get into the artsy and individualistic look. They just want something simple that works so I can go door knocking next weekend. So this is going to be a great opportunity for that. And the reason I also share this is because their price point is very competitive through Agent Store. If 500 business cards that I ordered for myself only costed $39. So just something to keep in your back pocket as a resource. However, if you do feel like you are more creative or you enjoy doing different design elements or want to capitalize on your brand, none of that is wrong. You guys are absolutely welcome to go through Canva or Vistaprint or similar resources. The reason behind or the reason I encourage this is just it's a one step simpler. But if you do go through Canva or Vistaprint, the biggest thing is you'll want to make sure that you reach out to Tasha Viney, our BIC associate, to make sure that that business card looks good and is ready to go. As you guys probably know, there's a lot of legal fun that comes into being an agent and independent contractor. So we want to make sure nobody's going to get in trouble based off of what they do or do not have on that business card. So Tasha will go ahead and take a look at it for you, make sure it is good good to go before you guys order them and pay to print. That's the biggest thing, is we don't want anyone to pay for something that they no longer can use for any reason. And especially if you are a provisional broker status in the state of North Carolina, it is a requirement for you to get her approval on the design before you go ahead and order those cards. So that's really everything I usually talk about during Scott Leroy Marketing's website. However, we can easily jump back there if anyone has additional questions on that. And I encourage you to also dive into it at your leisure to just kind of see what else is on that site. Those are just the 3 things I really like to share with you guys. A little bit further down under that new agent tab, we will arrive at our Facebook pages. So once we've seen the Facebook pages, I will tell you right now the top 2 listed here, this internal Facebook page and the Keller Williams Strategic Alliance Partners, are going to be the most popular of the 2 in terms of Valentine communications, agent to agent or agent to leadership team, and vice versa. With that being said, the top Facebook page is going to be just our agents and just our leadership team. This is a private Facebook group. If you're not already part of it, go ahead and join onto that group. It's somewhere that you guys can absolutely communicate with each other through, ask questions. You guys can say, hey, I am looking to hold an open house for somebody. Does anybody have anything coming up that they need assistance with? You guys could also then ask for assistance with an open house once you have a listing. It's a great opportunity to connect with people, other agents in our office when you're looking for referral partners, but maybe don't know anyone in the area, or just asking things like, hey, does anyone have a vendor that's a plumber that will service Gaston County? Because, my normal guy just doesn't go that far. It's a great forum for exactly that. A lot of agents are on there. They are constantly screenshotting contacts from their phone and sending them in the comments. So that way you guys can be in touch. This is a great and truly collaborative office. And we mean that literally. So, and you'll see that once you're on that Facebook page, because there's a lot of collaboration happening. There's any opportunity where someone can lend a hand, they're always happy to do so. So please do participate in that Facebook group. You'll also see that I'm on there constantly talking about the different trainings and events that we've got coming up. I make it very easy because I highlight exactly what the event's about. And I even drop a link right there. If there is registration required, you guys can easily click on it and get signed up right then and there. The other page below that is going to be our Strategic Alliance Partners page. And really what that is actually our vendor partners. So again, it's a private Facebook group, but this is going to be our agents, our leadership team, and our vendor partners. So at Keller Williams Valentine, not every Keller Williams office has a vendor program. We do, however, and our vendor program's amazing. What's so special about it is that every vendor in that program actually was vetted by another Keller Williams Valentine agent. So it's somebody that you can rely on because they've already worked with other agents in our office and offered a product or service that was highly recommended. So be part of that Facebook group. It's a great way for you to get in touch with any of those vendors or find out maybe what they're doing, what services their company offers. A lot of times they're even posting about new services, specials, promotions, things like that you can take advantage of. Another great feature, just as with Facebook, is you could search that page and it would be very simple to say electrician, and any electricians that we have on that page would populate. So it's really easy for you guys to get connected with vendors as well. The other 2 here, you guys are welcome to be part of. There's the Charlotte Area Realtor Network, one that you guys are absolutely welcome to join. We also have the access to the KW Carolinas region, which our Keller Williams office is a part of the Greater Carolinas region. So this is a great way for you guys to get in touch with other agents and other leadership members in the region. If we scroll a little past there, I won't click on it today, but there is access to Kellerisms. And really what Kellerisms is it is a PDF breakdown of basically all the language that's heard here in the hallways at KWB. One of the great things about our culture is that it is so developed and amazing. It's come so far, and we truly love everything about us. We kind of live in our own little bubble in a way. Like it's great. But with that being said, obviously, as your culture can develop, sometimes the language can change a little bit. So you're going to hear some terms that may not exist outside of these walls unless you were in another KW office. So when you hear something like a 145, and you truly have no idea what that is, you're not wrong for not understanding what that is. I also found it very confusing at first, but different things like that you're not going to be as familiar with right off the cuff. This is an opportunity for you to get real world terminology to describe what each of these things are. So really, it's just a little dictionary for you guys about Keller Williams specific terms and what they translate to in the real world.
Obviously, you are welcome to ask any of us these questions, but if it is 2 in the morning and you really are just looking for a quick answer, you don't want to wait 12 hours for somebody to wake up and see your email, that is a great way for you guys to get that answer. If we scroll just a little bit further down, if you guys are working through that KW technology, completely understandable. One of the great things about it is how developed it's become over the years. It's a very strong platform at this point in time, even though it did not necessarily start out that way. We all have to grow. So our KW technology is pretty phenomenal. But with that being said, just as kind of our culture, it only exists within Keller Williams. So if you've never been a part of a KW office before, that's very understandable that you would not have any prior experience with Command or with DocuSign necessarily, anything similar. So, in the event that you are trying to figure out how to navigate this technology for the first time, answers.kw, if you were to select that button right there, that will actually take you to a whole separate website. It is completely devised to have frequently asked questions and informational articles on how to navigate different KW technology. You can select what platform you're referring to, whether it's KW Connect, KW Command, the intranet. It's going to have all of those information forums. And then when you search for any keyword, different articles will populate. And if reading through it to troubleshoot matches your learning style, it's a great opportunity. But if reading through kind of intimidates you a little bit because you're really more visual, they will have screenshots as well that are shared within those articles. So it makes it like super easy to follow along and then replicate on your end so that you can navigate the platform successfully. So it's just really a tool there that I want you guys to know exists in the event that you're looking to figure out how to work through Command, but maybe it is in the evening hours and you're just not sure who to reach out to. You guys have an opportunity to figure that out through answers.kw.com. The other thing with that is there's actually a sister website called ideas.kw.com. And very similar, it's all about your suggestions about how to improve Command. So if you've got any kind of background with similar platforms, or maybe you're just brand new and you're realizing this could be a slightly more user-friendly platform if we just made this button available on this other page. They want to hear feedback like that. Obviously, I can't promise you that you're going to see it unrolled or rolled out just the next week or anything, but they are constantly improving and updating the platform. So if there were any suggestions that you provided to them that they really wanted to implement, you very well may see them become implemented into the platform. So something to consider. A little further down, you have an opportunity here to download Ignite materials. So when you guys are enrolled or I shouldn't say enrolled. You don't have to register for Ignite, but if you are participating in Ignite once it starts back up in May, you'll realize that you may want to have access to the student manual. The student manual is available to download for free on our website. However, if you are a true pen and paper type person, nothing wrong with that. I am the same way. We do have some spiral bound versions that are available for purchase. They're $35. You could just come see me and Lynn and we'll take care of that for you. A little bit further down, you will have access to our training calendar. And I should have prefaced before starting all this, you'll notice the big thing on this website is that there are multiple ways to pull to the same information. So I will show you guys the most convenient ways with a little less scrolling, a little less memorization. So we'll bypass this particular access to the training calendar because it is a little further in and buried. So I want to show you guys an easier way. But at the bottom here, you will see we do have access to how to book a conference room. You'll notice that that's posted here under this More tab. You'll see underneath here, there is a schedule a conference room in the drop-down menu. Really what that is you'll notice we do have 5 different conference rooms in this floor. 2 of which are absolutely beautiful and you walk right almost into them coming in through the lobby. And so each of those conference rooms have various capacities that they can hold. And you guys are welcome to utilize them as our agents in this office. So you'll notice that tea groups are often held in there. Coaching meetings, things like that will be held in there, but you too are allowed to invite your clients over here to meet with them. The biggest thing about our conference rooms is just because we only have the 5, we like to make sure that they are constantly on rotation and available for you guys to utilize. So we just ask that if you are going to plan on using them, keep it to 2 hours or less for that reservation and make sure it's just a more collaborative effort that's going into that conference room, whether you are meeting with your coach, meeting with a client, having a consultation with another person. person, really just anything that involves more than just yourself. Think of it like an HOV lane. Um, when you guys are looking for just more of a private and independent workspace, obviously you can see that the training room is available throughout the day if there's not already a scheduled event. And you're welcome to take advantage and just be in here. You're welcome to join other agents out in the hub area, which is just outside this door. And you'll see that they are constantly in there lead generating or just hanging out. We also have two focus rooms just outside this back door here. And those focus rooms are designed very similar to a conference room. They are individual workspaces with a closed door. There's one desk in each room. It's a small room. So really, if you were looking for that private time to just sit down and focus on your lead generation, but you're kind of like me and you get to chatting and you just can't stop once you start, you guys are welcome to reserve those focus rooms at any point in time. They'll also be posted to this same spreadsheet where you can book the conference room. And it's a very, very simple process. It opens up to one big wide spreadsheet and you can just drag and drop your reservation in there. It tells you the number of the conference room because they still don't have names quite yet in this new office. It'll tell you the number of the conference room so you know exactly which one you'll be booking, and it'll tell you the capacity it holds so you know it will be appropriate for what you're doing. And then you can also see down the left-hand side, it will show you all the times it's available during the day. Very, very simple for you guys to book that. I will take us just quickly back to our homepage. I know it takes a little bit of time going through the new agent tab specifically because I know it's a little more relevant for you guys as we're getting started. But now that we're back at the homepage, we can start picking up the pace just a touch. But however, I also do know I talk very fast. So if at any point somebody needs me to slow down or wants me to repeat anything or ask a question, ladies, you're welcome to do that. That goes to everyone online as well, assuming you guys can hear me. They still haven't said. So on the homepage here, we'll just scroll a little bit further. This is our wonderful leadership team, many of who you've probably already met or seen at least in the hallways. Our leadership team is full of wonderful, wonderful ladies, all very friendly and knowledgeable. And when you're looking at our staff directory here, it will tell you what each of us do on leadership. And we'll also give you our email addresses. So if you needed kind of a rough idea of who does what, how to reach us, it's all right here and very easy to get plugged in. And of course, pictures always help because you might not know someone by name, but you will probably recognize who they are. As you scroll a little past there, you will see our can't miss video of the week. And ironically, I say this every time, this has been up here for months, and it's not because Jules and Lee are bad at their jobs. It's actually quite the opposite. They're so good at what they do. They've created such a phenomenal video. This is a 25-minute overview, and it really just highlights and emphasizes how KW Command communicates with DocuSign. So that's going to be a big thing that you guys will absolutely want to get a little bit more familiarity with ahead of your first transaction. So I would encourage you, whenever it's convenient to you, start diving into that technology so you guys have an idea of how to operate everything. Mainly because it just takes a little bit more of that nervousness in that first transaction off of your plate. You're no longer kind of worried because this is your first time navigating the platform and you've got all these other things. You've taken care of one step already. You feel more comfortable, which is important. So starting with this video, I think this is a phenomenal resource, and it's one that is great because you guys can look at this anytime you'd like to. So utilize that video, especially because it will cover a lot of the basics of how to make sure that your DocuSign is appropriately linked to your command so that you can send contracts and forms to your clients. A little further down, we do have our office training calendar. This widget in particular can sometimes be temperamental, especially when when it is displaying, you'll see that some things will get chopped off a little bit. So the much easier way to view our calendar, if you scroll all the way down here, is this option right here. Click here for full calendar view. If you click on that, it will take you to our full office calendar. This is connected live to my Google Calendar. So at any point in time, as I am updating it, you'll see those changes live. But this is going to show you everything that we've got going on at KW Ballantine at any point in time. The reason we share this is, of course, we want to see you guys get plugged in right away. And as entrepreneurs, there are plenty of resources here for you guys to be able to succeed in your new career, but it's up to you guys to take advantage of which of those resources you'd like. So all of them are pretty much displayed on this website and through this calendar. So go ahead and start plugging into anything and everything that excites you, that interests you, that would benefit your business or you on a personal level. We're excited to have you. And it's very, very rare, I would say, that you'll ever find something on on this calendar that is a specific audience. It's more intended for anybody and everybody that would like to participate. The other thing I would mention with this in particular, if you click on any given event, you'll be able to see that there's a full description of the event. You'll also see a registration link if it is required for you to register. If the class is available as a Zoom option in addition to in person, that Zoom link will be posted right then and there. But this is a great way to kind of overview what that particular training involves and if it's going to be one you'd like to participate in. And then the other thing is obviously we do bring in we'll have kind of consistency to our schedule. We'll have some recurring trainings that you'll get familiar with. We also bring in some fun additional trainings, either vendor-led lunch and learns. This month we've got CE that's being brought in person. So if you need to get your CE done, you guys can do it that way. So any of that, we've also got a great foundational core class sitting right here on the 24th. It's the 6 personal perspectives, and it's one that Gary Keller strongly encourages. So if you guys would like to start plugging in, I'd recommend doing it even today if you can. Start checking out the calendar and see what you want to come in for next, because we'd love to see you. And I will scroll down a little further. This just kind of highlights some of those recurring meetings that I mentioned. We do have our team meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. We also have Tech Tuesdays every single Tuesday. And then, of course, we have ALC meetings as well. ALC is probably the one that people are a little less familiar with. And really what ALC is, it's our Agent Leadership Council. We'll talk about them a little bit more in just a moment here. But they do meet once a month and they get together and they do make decisions on behalf of Ballantine. We basically will come to different representatives of our agent body and we will ask them their opinions on different conversations and decisions we're trying to make. And then they will help to make a decision that is hopefully and usually very representative of our agents here so that your voice is always heard. We'll talk about them a little bit more in just a moment. But as you scroll just a little further, did you have a question, Carla? Yeah. So Power Hour is actually held in the hub here. It's 1 hour from 9 to 10 every morning. Every morning. It's Monday through Thursday, although you're welcome to come on Fridays. And that's actually technically through coaching, but you guys could easily come. You don't have to be in coaching. And it's just really everyone gets together to lead generate in the morning. So it makes it a little bit easier to do that process. I think that it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to wake up at 9 and I'm going to lead generate by myself in my office. And then your dog walks by or your husband makes breakfast and you're like, oh, well, I could lead generate later. So it's sometimes harder to stay accountable on your own. So this is a great way for you guys to come in, do it as more of a collaborative effort where you're all doing it together, make it more fun. And then usually a productivity coach is also present in the room. So if you had questions, you could come and talk to that coach. So it would be a really great opportunity for you guys to also just start to make friends in the office. I mean, everyone's really, really nice. And I know you guys probably already have friends in the office, but make even more friends. As we get a little bit further down, we do have Sabra and Tasha, our wonderful BIC, Miss Sabra, and our BIC associate, Miss Tasha. So both of these wonderful ladies are incredibly knowledgeable and very helpful. They are here to help support you guys, obviously, in your real estate career, and they're here to look after you. So Sabra, of course, is going to be our true broker in charge. So I always say, if you've got your pants on fire or hair on fire because of anything legal, go straight to Sabra. Do not make any stops. What is it? Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go straight to Sabra. She'll talk to you, and she'll be able to help you with any of those situations. When it comes to any more administrative questions, maybe something a little less legal or urgent in that sense, you guys can, of course, talk to Tasha Viney. And the reason I make that distinction is because Tasha is technically not quite our broker in charge. She is more Sabra's right hand, but she is equally knowledgeable, and she's actually in our office 3 days a week. So Sabra, you will notice, is not always going to be in office. She's actually very seldomly here physically in person, but Tasha's kind of making up for it by being here 3 days a week. You guys can always come and talk to her anytime you need to. And her office is kind of different. I don't normally explain it in here. Tasha's office is actually, if you just go basically straight back to the back hallway, she's in that back hallway on this side of the office. So no, she used to just sit right outside the door and I could be, she's right there. So now I have to like kind of somewhere back there. I'll show you guys if you need a tour. But she's wonderful. Her office hours are posted right there, so you can see those very easily. We also have some charts here in regards to making sure you're on top of your CE or any other requirement when it comes to licensing, anything like that. We obviously there is a firm deadline on maintaining your license, renewing your license each year. We don't want anyone to miss that. So, of course, if you guys are wondering, especially as brand new agents, what am I responsible for in that first year? I haven't even had my license a whole year. These are charts that you guys can reference just to have an idea of what you can expect, what you need to prioritize right away, and anything that you might be able to put off until the very next year. So all those charts are there to help give you some more information on those. If you have any questions regarding what you're seeing, you can talk to Tasha directly. But some of those will even be as simple as just giving you step-by-step instructions on how to log in to the commission website to view your own hours and things like that. But it helps to make sure you're on top of everything. Our Agent Leadership Council, as I was mentioning, we do have several top producing agents who have volunteered a bit of their additional time to serve as different members of different committees in our office. So we've got KW Cares and Social Committee. They're a lot of fun. They're a charitable arm, and they're also trying to schedule fun events and socials. We actually do have an agent social next Wednesday if anyone wants to go. It's a great opportunity to get to know vendors and get to know other agents in our office. And it's just fun to kind of get out of the office sometimes. You'll see more about that on the office calendar. But so they would be the ones coordinating all those fun socials. And you'll see there who these individuals are, as well as their contact information. We also have our wonderful career development committee. They're talking about what trainings are brought into the office. So if you guys ever wanted to weigh in or listen to those conversations, you're welcome to meet with Heather or Jay. And then we also have Tina and Lindsay, and they're serving our growth committee. And growth committee is responsible for helping you guys to grow your downlines, really. They're trying to teach you guys how you too can have conversations with others to talk about Keller Williams Valentine, encourage them to join, and then build a downline and passive income. So they're very great with that, very knowledgeable ladies. And each of these committees meet once every month. It's usually, I think, the first Tuesday, but again, all on the calendar. So at any point in time, you guys are welcome to come into one of their meetings, have conversations with them, listen to what they're talking about, or even maybe join the committee if you'd like to, if you're really passionate about that particular topic. And they'll be able to welcome you aboard and help out with any questions you may have. The other thing is, kind of as I mentioned, the overarching ALC meeting. These are the individuals who are making those big decisions on behalf of our market center to represent the agents in our office. So anytime that you see an ALC meeting on the calendar, and that's usually the third Tuesday. I don't expect anyone to remember these things. They're all on the calendar, I promise. On the third Tuesday, they all meet together, and that's when you can expect, if you choose to come in to witness those conversations for the big overarching meeting, you're absolutely welcome to. The biggest thing is that we just ask that you be respectful and understand that we have ALC hold the floor. So you'd be more in as an observer than kind of a contributor to the conversation at that point. But that is something that is incredible to be part of. We also have our wonderful productivity coaches here. Productivity coaches or business coaches are going to be the individuals that actually. Sometimes my brain and my mouth don't go at the same speed. So your productivity coaches or your business coaches are going to be one of the two pillars of mentorship, so to speak, at Keller Williams Valentine. So if you're a brand new agent joining KW Valentine, we do auto enroll you into our coaching program. And that's because we think that these individuals are really here to help and can help you to build a lot of momentum in that first year of business. It's very difficult sometimes to get off the ground, especially in doing something completely new. So they're here to help make sure that you're successful in all of your endeavors. They're going to be meeting weekly with you and all of their other coaching clients and having great and powerful conversations about what's going on in the market. What should your scripts look like? How can we lead generate? How can we lead generate different? What are we doing that's working? What are we doing that's not? And they're going to want to also get to know what your goals are and how they can help hold you accountable to them. So they're going to make sure that we're hitting those goals. They're going to check in on you regularly and see where we're at and, talk to you halfway through the year. If we need to adjust the goal, we can, but if not, then let's keep going. We're going to push even harder, or maybe that means we can coast for a little bit, wherever you're at, they're here to help support you guys and get the ball rolling to make sure your business is set up for success. And then you also have our wonderful T group or transaction group partners. And these individuals are going to be our kind of contracts and forms experts. This is your second pillar of mentorship, so to speak, at KWB. They are also meeting every week with you and their other clients. Every week, they're going to be chunking down the contracts and the forms in a digestible amount because if you've ever bought a house yourself, you know it's a lot of paperwork. And of course, we want to make sure that you guys know everything that's expressed in those documents so you feel comfortable with their meaning, you know how to fill them out, and you can explain the same thing to your clients. So they're here to help you with that. I also consider your T group or your transaction partner to be kind of your first stepping stone when you do have a question about a transaction. You can then talk to your T group or your transaction partner and ask them, hey, I've got something that's a little different in this transaction. Have you ever done a land deal before? What is that? You could have those questions and talk that through with your transaction partner instead of necessarily having to go to Sabra. So Sabra, again, being more the legal side of things, she absolutely is here and she's very friendly. Like if you ask her a question, she'd of course still answer you. But just because she does oversee 500 agents, sometimes it's easier to prioritize the more legal matters first. So we want to make sure that you have another individual or resource that you guys can go to at any point in time. Plus, sometimes it's easier when you feel like you really know someone. You're going to meet with them every week. It might feel a little bit more comfortable for some just to ask a question to someone they know they've met every single week for the last month and a half. So they're here to help you guys, especially get started. And you'll notice that there's several different transaction partners and business coaches. Each of them are, again, top producing agents with successful businesses on their back. And this is additional time that they're kind of offering and dedicating to this role. The big thing, if you are going into the coaching program, make sure you check on the calendar for the next intro to coaching session. That's going to be one you'll want to attend with Michelle Amador. She's going to explain even more about the coaching program because that's usually one thing we have a lot of questions on. So she'll be able to give you a great idea of exactly what you can expect with coaching. She'll also want to get to know you personally as well. So she'll talk to you about your goals, talk to you about what brought you to real estate, and how she too can help support you in launching your career. When you scroll a little bit further, we do arrive at our helpful resources, frequently used sites, and helpful links. There's a lot of access points to this information up top, so you don't have to worry about scrolling that far. And if you guys did ever want to get to that calendar really quickly, all you do is click Office Calendar, and it will do all the work for you if you select that tab at the top here. We'll go ahead and I'm going to move us on really quickly to the FAQ tab. And again, very similar to our staff directory, ladies, this is just here to help you guys. So that way you have an idea of exactly who you should talk to about any particular question you may have. If you hover over any of these tiles, you don't have to click anything. It will then show you who on leadership handles that particular responsibility and what their contact information is. That way, if you had any questions about specifically a referral or anything like that, you knew directly to go to Lynn. That way, of course, you always can come to me and I will help connect dots. But if it's urgent and you really need an answer ASAP, sometimes it's better just to know you already reached out to the correct person rather than having to wait for me to respond, then for me to connect you. This is just an overview to give you a better idea of what we do here. However, if there are any tiles or any questions you may have that you're realizing are not quite related to what you're seeing here, always come and talk to me, whether that's an email, phone call, or stopping by my office, because if I don't know the answer, I will gladly help put you in touch with who I think does. So keep me in mind if you ever have a question you're not really sure who to go to with. The next screen is going to be the on-demand training tab. And I apologize, I didn't really give us much time to look at that. When you click on on-demand training, it's going to then take you, it's going to be a locked tab. And the reason I like to really stop and say this part is just so you guys can have a chance to write down the password. So this particular tab and the tab to the right of it, one that we will look at next, are going to have the same password. And so it's going to be a capital B, a lowercase a, M, C, 350, and that's it. If you know our Wi-Fi password at all or have that written anywhere, it is pretty much the same thing. There's just not an exclamation point. I'll repeat the password one more time when we're on the next screen in case anyone wants to double check what they have. But when you've arrived at on-demand training, this is usually one of people's favorite tabs. I'll be honest. On the left-hand side here under on demand, this will take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. This shows you archives of videos and recordings we have. Bless you. Videos and recordings we have from prior trainings. So the big thing that I always like to stop and share before we move on is that one, this is not going to be every single training that we offer on the calendar. These are going to be more of those recurring trainings that I mentioned earlier. So things like Tech Tuesdays. Bless you. You're oh God, do not be sorry. I just want to make sure that I got a chance to say bless you. Um, we do have multiple playlists down here, and that really kind of highlights what those trainings are that we have recordings of. Those are going to be those recurring meetings like how to get paid faster, orientation or KWB case of success. Still getting used to all the new names we have for everything this year. Sorry, guys. And then team meetings, things like that. The reason that we have this is for really two purposes. The first is, of course, if you were out sick and you missed anything for any reason, because truly you were out with the stomach bug. There was no way I was even getting on a Zoom. In that event, we want you guys, of course, to have access to anything you may have missed so that you can still learn from it, especially if you were dying to go to that particular training. The other reason that this exists is because we understand that not everyone has the same schedule. So, just reiterating that if your schedule is a little bit more hectic than others, this is an opportunity for you guys to kind of get a lot of that information and at a time that works well for you more than anything. Sometimes, even though, yeah, I do have an office job, but I I can't really just hop on a Zoom for an hour. That makes sense. You know, there's an integrity element to also working the office job. We get that. So in the event that, yeah, 11 to 12, I can't watch that team meeting, I'm working, then go ahead and check out what we talked about, later that night or next week, because I will be the one who's updating the recordings that get added to this. I'm usually in there probably once a week, once every 2 weeks to update anything that you may have missed. If at any point, though, you're realizing that I have not gone in to publish something just yet that you were specifically looking for, or maybe something from several weeks back is not there, you guys are always welcome to email me and ask me about it. I very well may have the recording and I either just didn't get a chance to post it yet, or more than likely, YouTube sometimes fights me and it thinks that I'm violating a policy with whatever recording I'm trying to publish. So, in that event, I still may have access to the recording, but YouTube just will not allow it to be posted to their channel. So just email me because I very well may have something I can share with you guys very easily so you can still get that information. But with all that being said, we still, as much as possible, would love to see you guys for live participation in trainings, whether that was in person or on Zoom. Live is important, and not because we want to inconvenience you guys. It's really just because that's your best opportunity to ask questions in real time. We want to make sure that, of course, if you're walking away from something and you're like, whoa, that was a lot. I don't even know really what to think. I'm still a little confused on XYZ, that attending live, you would have an opportunity to get those questions answered and not be leaving feeling like there was still more to ask or more to learn. So we just encourage the live participation as often as possible. But of course, if you ever need to lean in on those recordings, please do. They're there for a reason. On the right hand side, very, very similar. We do have access to, you're going to love it, Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel. So, Scott Leroy Marketing also has a YouTube channel, and it is all kinds of tech tips, tech trainings, full classes. They've got it all on here. So, you guys can go in at any point in time and preview any of their recordings. Some of these tech tip videos are just a few minutes long. Then you guys can even see they've got full length classes, and the subject of the email or the title, or sorry, so the title of the video always has the subject of that class. So you guys will know right away what you're getting into before you sit there for 30 minutes and realize, nope, that's not what I wanted it to be. All of that information is shared right here on their YouTube channel, and you'll have an idea, obviously, of the time commitment as well. So, again, just more flexibility in trying to get some of that tech training in. I know that usually is the biggest hurdle for everyone, and not because it's impossible and we don't expect anyone to be successful with it by any stretch, just because, again, it's KW specific. 9 times out of 10, nobody has seen it prior to onboarding and joining our office. So, obviously, with that being said, there's just going to be a lot that you have opportunities to learn. We want to make sure that you're able to take advantage of that as much as possible. Although it is fairly user friendly, I will say. But still want to make sure that you guys have all the support you need. There's also just some additional information here about Ignite. Our Ignite sessions will launch again on May 1st, guys. You'll see all of that written on the training calendar, so you won't have to worry about having that memorized. You could easily reference it. But May 1st, we will begin again. They are from 9 to noon. It's 20 sessions and it's Monday through Friday. So it's basically 4 straight weeks of going, 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 but you are going to get so much information. We love Ignite because we always say it's basically everything you thought you would learn in real estate school, but you didn't. Because in real estate school, they like to tell you all the legal stuff, but they don't like to tell you how to live your life as a realtor for one single day. So in the event that you guys are actually curious about how to do the things that you're expected to do, Ignite is going to be a great opportunity to plug into that. We'll also have top producing agents as our instructors for that. Every single session will be led by another top producing agent. So you're getting experiences and advice from those who've done it firsthand in this market and in this office. So they'll be able to give you a lot of great guidance. And one of the coolest things I think about that is that they always put their contact information on the board so that the very first thing they do is put their contact info. You guys can write it down and reach out to them. They do that because they want you to reach out to them and ask questions if you have any. So keep an eye out for Ignite. That's going to be an amazing class you'll want to be jumping into. The next tab here is our office resources tab. And just covering this one briefly, because under office resources, if you just kind of hover briefly rather than click, you'll see that there's access to our advertising guidelines. Those are going to give you some indication about what you can and cannot have on a lot of your marketing. That's the real reason that that's posted there. Obviously, as I mentioned, for provisional brokers, you will need to discuss things with Tasha prior to ordering things like business cards. But those are also there to help just give you a guide moving forward of what you can expect, especially once you've reached broker status, unless you had a specific question maybe for them. Once you've reached broker status, you do have a little bit more freedom, a little bit less restriction on what you can and can't post. So in the event that you had more questions or just kind of wanted a little bit more of a guideline to what the broker status publishments can look like, advertising guidelines will be a great reference. There should also be access to different KW Valentine logo files in there as well. We do have the do not call list posted just below that. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about the do not call list at this point in time. That is going to be an important one, guys, because not only are you subject to potentially thousands of dollars in fines if you contact the wrong person, but I just found out recently that you can also be taken to court over it. Isn't that fun? So not only do you have maybe a fat check you have to write, you also may have to go to court. So really, I think it just sounds like we need to avoid it altogether. So in the event that you guys need to know, most of us do, who those people are that we are not going to call, that if you click on that do not call list button, it will allow you guys to preview like step-by-step instructions on how you can register on that site so that you can access all those individuals' information to know not to call them. The other thing is, so these two, and the reason I stop is because these are easily accessible through this drop-down menu. They're not as accessible, and I still haven't quite worked that part out yet. They're not as accessible once you click into the tab. So if you're looking for the advertising guidelines or the do not call list, you can pause right as soon as you hover here. But if not, you can continue into the tab. Same password as before. Just to reiterate, it is a capital B as in boy, lowercase a as in apple, M as in monkey, C as in cat, 350. And then once you guys are in our office resources tab, on the left-hand side, you'll see we have access to general forms. I know both of you are North Carolina licensed, so I'll show you this side here. If you click on Get Forms, this is going to show you a Google Drive folder that Miss Saber created herself, and it's actually got a ton of great information in it. These are all KW Ballantyne specific forms. So these are not necessarily your state contracts and forms that would populate automatically in DocuSign. These are either forms that are more specific to our market center because they have our specific information on them, or it might be a disclosure about our partnerships that somebody needs to know about because we do partner with a title company. They should be aware of that. There's also things like septic and sewer, which is something that Sabre prefers to have record of on every transaction. So you'll find all of those documents in here. If it's not something published by the state, if it's anything related to our firm specifically, 9 times out of 10, it will be in this Google Drive folder. The way I like to phrase it is that between DocuSign and between this Google Drive folder, you guys will have every single thing you need. Everything should populate for you without any issues. If you are in your DocuSign to start and you're like, oops, can't find my septic and sewer, then if it's not showing in DocuSign, it probably is in this Google Drive folder. And I know it sounds silly to say it this way. If you're in this Google Drive folder and you cannot find the offer to purchase, go into your DocuSign. Between the two, check one first. And if it's not in there, check the other. These two things between DocuSign and this Google Drive folder will be everything you should need. You'll find things like our working with real estate agents brochures, disclosures. You'll find our W-9 referral agreements, all of that great information that you will need at some point. This is going to be where you can find it. If you are South Carolina licensed, the exact same equivalent of those forms for South Carolina is on the right-hand side. And then in the middle here, get checklist. This is an exciting Google Drive folder. Sabra, again, developed these herself, but instead of just adding them to this Google Drive folder, she straight up made these herself, which is pretty impressive. So Sabra felt like, especially when you're doing that first transaction, but maybe it's just I've done a lot of listings. I've never had a buyer. Whatever that looks like, sometimes it can be daunting to take on that first version of that transaction. She wants to make sure that you guys can go in as comfortable and confident as possible. She also wants to make sure that you guys don't ever have to worry about backtracking and trying to get information way later. Want to make sure that you're hitting all the deadlines, getting all the information you need for a successful transaction. So each of these particular checklists that you'll see by their title that they're designated to what state it is or what side of the transaction it is. This happens to be contract to close for a buyer's agent. So you'll see it's got a task and when you're responsible for it. And then a checklist if you like to actually sit there and make sure you've marked them all off. But it literally, for 3 pages, it details every single thing you need to do in that particular transaction to do your job to the fullest. So she's got everything on here. And like I said, it's for North Carolina, it's for South Carolina, it's for rentals, it's for buying, it's for listings, all of the above. You can find that out based off of the subject line or the title of that document. But she has created each of these themselves just to give you that added boost of confidence for those first few transactions. And because this is obviously a free resource and one that's digital and online, you guys can reference these as often as you need to, want to, whatever that looks like. There's never a wrong answer. The resource is there if you think that you would benefit from using it. Close out. We'll go a little bit further. So another thing about Keller Williams Ballantine, you may already know, we do partner with 2 different real estate education sources. And that way you guys have access to not only lots of resources through them, but you also will have access to discount codes for your real estate education, whether that's pre-licensing for another state, post-licensing for the state you're currently licensed in, CE, whatever that looks like, guys, you have discounts available to you. But even better than that, they can also be shared with others. And there's no requirement of you sharing it for that person to commit to our firm. You can simply just share it out of the kindness of your heart and make their day. So that is something I want you guys to think about. Obviously, I will share with you specifically where you can find those real estate codes, but because we arrived at the CE shop, that is always a talking point for me. There's only 2 other things I really like to mention when we're specifically referencing the CE shop when we are looking at their website. The first thing is this free trial button. If you guys have ever contemplated self-paced learning, but you just didn't know if it was going to be successful for you, I know it is very specific learning styles succeed with it. Some don't, and that's okay. Everyone, needs something a little bit different in order to be successful. But if you've ever kind of toyed with the idea, but never jumped fully in because you're just not quite sure and you don't want to screw it up and pay for this course and then end up doing really poorly, there's a free trial through CE Shop to do 1 week of your pre-licensing for South Carolina, for example. And you guys can try that self-paced online for 1 week for free. And if you loved it and that score was phenomenal and you're excited to continue, you can then register to continue on with the course and make your payment right then and there. But if you hated it and you were like, yep, nope, this was a learning experience, I think I'm better suited for an in-person class at Superior or anything like that, you guys can walk away from it with no skin in the game, no consequences to you. So it's just something to consider trying out. Again, if you've been on the fence about self-paced learning, it's an opportunity to try it out before you buy. And the last thing that I share with you guys, I always joke now because, again, just like Scott Leroy Marketing, they also updated their site. So now I look like a crazy person because I'm about to show you the fine print at the very bottom of the website. But this did used to just be a tab at the top. So I promise I'm not crazy. This did used to exist a lot more conveniently. But if you scroll all the way down under the agent essentials here, specifically this hot topics button, guys, if you select that, this will take you to a library of ebooks, blogs, podcasts, and videos, all within the CE shop that you guys have access to for free. So this is not only an opportunity for you guys potentially to glean information from, whether it's an informative piece, a lighthearted piece, whatever that looks like. This is also the reason I really mention it is it's an opportunity for you guys to do what we call rip off and duplicate. That sounds terrible because it sounds like plagiarism, but it's not. In real estate, rip off and duplicate is actually something that's highly encouraged. We always say, why reinvent the wheel, right? So if something exists out there and it's already proven that it's a successful tactic or resource, why would we necessarily worry about recreating it on our end when we could just use that, right? And you'll notice that that's a big thing here in this office. Like if you found somebody and they had a really killer listing presentation, you guys could ask them, would you mind sharing your listing presentation with me? And I will tell you right now that I could tell you at least 10 names of people who would absolutely send you their listing presentation. And then you could cut out pieces you didn't like, add pieces you wanted to, and then make it your own. So there's just an opportunity here to kind of lean into what's already existent to then help your business succeed. This is a prime example. And the reason I share it is because if social media marketing screams out to you, that's something you're looking forward to, that's something that you want to integrate into your business. That's a big thing right now. It's very successful. Some people get almost all of their business through social media. So if that's something you're thinking about implementing, the reason I like to share this is because the most important things I've learned about your social media presence, if your goal is to market your business, is that you need to be posting regularly, whether that's every single day or every other day. It needs to be pretty consistent and almost all the time. So you need to constantly have a presence. That way your page is active, you're staying in front of people, you're constantly getting new traffic. The other thing is you need to diversify the content you're sharing. So don't just make it, oh, here's my headshot today, here's my other headshot tomorrow. You want to make sure that there's meat and potatoes to what you're doing. It's helpful things. There's content about your closings. There's content about what other people can learn in the market. There's content about what's going on in Valentine. There's all these different things that you guys can implement just to kind of keep things fresh and exciting to get new traffic. But if you're ever really unsure about what you should post, just post one of these articles. It's that easy. Just click and copy and paste that link into that article. So that way you guys can easily use it as like your boom, I hit the easy button. My post is out for today. I'll think of something else for tomorrow. But sometimes, it really is just a rainy Tuesday, or sometimes you're traveling and it's not easy to prioritize. So in that event, this is an easy go-to for you guys so that you're posting something that's of quality content to your page, but it's something that can hopefully also help direct new traffic. I will close out of the CE shop and we'll go back here. Access to the Valentine floor plan. That button should not even be working right now if I tried to click on it, which I won't, because I think that's still the old floor plan. So we just hit it until we can upload the new one. And then at the very bottom here, you will see that we also have access to numbers to know. These are numbers that are specific to us or our firm that may not be something you're asked for very often. So in the event you were finally getting that South Carolina license, you've been working so hard to get it and you're so excited, you guys can easily go ahead and reference the numbers to know here, because at some point on that application to get your license number, it will ask you for our firm license number. So that way you guys can find, oh, look, there's our South Carolina firm license number. If you guys are working through a referral and you need our federal tax ID, that's where you can find that information. So just, again, those numbers that are a little less frequently asked for, this is where they'll be located. If you can't remember that, I don't expect everyone to. So feel free to send me an email and I'll be able to point you back in the right direction. Just a couple other things I'll talk about briefly. And then if you guys have the availability, I'm going to take like maybe 5, probably less extra time to show you one other thing after we finish up with this website. So under tech resources, we do have the opportunity here to preview that can't miss video of the week. If you forgot where on the homepage you could find it, access to answers at kw.com. Plenty of great content. And again, just additional ways to pull to some of the information we've already talked about. Under more here, you'll see that we have access to the ALC meeting minutes, okay? So if you guys missed that overarching meeting where all of the ALC got together, but you wanted to know, like, what did they talk about? What were those decisions? If you click on ALC meeting minutes, guys, it'll take you to a Google Drive folder where you can reference what was shared during that meeting. The prayer request form really is more of a talking point for me, and that's really just to emphasize how much we do seriously consider you guys to be our family now that you've joined our office. So if at any point in time you guys have anything that you're going through that you need additional support, whether it's a hug in the hallway or how can we help? Can I drive to your, whatever that looks like, just let us know what's happening. We want to make sure that you guys are happy and healthy all the time. Same with your loved ones. So if there's ever anything happening in your world, just let us know because we just want to love extra hard on you and do anything else that we can to help support you through that. So keep us posted because you are our family and family doesn't keep secrets. So you guys have to tell us. Um, but we also have underneath that is KW perks. If you guys are looking for insurance now that you are independent contractors, maybe you don't have it through your job anymore. Maybe you've got a husband or anybody else in your world that you've got theirs and that's okay. If you're shopping insurance at any point though, or if you're maybe just looking to see if there's something better out there, KW Perks was launched not long ago. I want to say within last year or the year prior. And that was when KW partnered with Capstone Financial. So you guys can search the insurance marketplace, but you guys can be saving on top of that. I always neglect to get the stat off the top of my head, but it is I know more than 10%. I just am always hesitant to say anything more because I don't want to give you false information, but people are saving in real dollars from the KW perks. So check it out. You can plug in your information just to see if there's anything out there. You don't actually have to go ahead and commit to anything. The other thing you'll notice, you'll see we did have access again to schedule a conference room. KWB firm exclusive listings, guys. If you ever were looking for a particular property, you didn't find anything on MLS, but you know that obviously there are some firm exclusive listings that are not shared in MLS. You wanted to know what those were because how does one figure that out without calling everyone individually? When paperwork is submitted about a firm exclusive listing, Sabra uploads to a Google Sheet here and it's a live document. So again, it's always being updated, but she'll make sure that all the information about that listing is shared and she'll give you the listing agent's contact information so you can call them to get more information about price point or anything else that you may need to know to bring back to your client. But that way you know exactly what properties will be available through Firm Exclusive. We also have strategic vendor partners. So if you didn't get a chance to join that Facebook page, but you really needed to know who the available vendors were to work with for a client, or maybe you wanted to talk to some builders about something, whether it was for your client or personal, there's all of our vendor partners are in the spreadsheet, guys. Again, another live document. So if at any point we update anything, you will see it here in real time, but you will be able to see that we've got all of their information. They are organized by their industry just to make it that much easier. So that way you can pull multiple quotes just by glancing at one section of the sheet, but it'll tell you the particular company, who our specific contact is, their contact information, also what their services are, if we've got additional information, and any websites that they have. So this just makes it one step easier to get in touch with great vendors that you can absolutely trust. You'll notice though that for some, example being HVAC, we've only got one individual currently listed under HVAC. So another great thing about our vendor program is we would love to see it grow and grow and grow. So if you guys have someone in your world that you know is a great HVAC technician, for example, and he's a good family friend of yours, been in the family for years, and you just love him, he's always done great work, refer him to us. Let us know. It's as simple as connecting them with Angela Bueno via email. And I believe she's got some business cards at the front desk. If not, she does have an office in here. So I'd be happy to get you her contact info or show you where her office is. But Angela will actually do all the legwork for you. If you introduce her to them via email, Angela will explain everything they need to know about the vendor program. And if they're interested in that win-win opportunity, they'll go ahead and sign up and you'll see them added to this roster. But really what it is it gives them, it truly is a win-win because it gives them access to 530 agents right off the bat, just for being a member or a vendor in our program. So if you guys know anybody in your world that has done great work for you or for a friend, and you would love to recommend them or refer them to the program, please do. You'll see which categories we're looking specifically at for additional vendors, and just keep us in mind. And then back to that particular tab, we also have Outfront Magazine. So very, very similar to what we already mentioned with CE Shop. If you guys need a cheat code, so to speak, or that easy button for a social media post one day, again, social media sounds great and easy in theory, but sometimes it is a lot more work than people realize. Sometimes it's just really hard to come up with a fresh idea. That happens. So Outfront Magazine does monthly publishments of a post every single day. So at the start of February, they'll release a new calendar that tells you something you could post every single day in February. So if you truly, truly were struggling to come up with something, you could reference that at any point in time and hit the easy button and add something to your pages. The last thing is that discount codes for real estate education, just to show you guys. If you click on it, you'll see that'll bring you right back to CE Shop's website. And then Superior actually has separate links for each form of education. This is going to be post licensing, and this is going to be your CE. So just pay attention to those labels at the bottom to make sure you're clicking on the right thing. But if you click access code, it takes you directly to each site. CE Shop, the big thing with them is their discount codes are fluctuating. So it's been anywhere between 20 to 50% off. If you guys are ever wondering what specifically that deal looks like, you can see it right there on the site. It breaks it down so you can see the exact impact it has on the price point of a package. The other thing I would mention is that they do also offer like 1 day sales and promotions that they run. Barbara Wilkinson is the representative that I partner or that I work with for the CE Shop. She sends me all of that information in advance. So anytime there is a 1 day sale happening, I make a Facebook post with the link information at 8 a.m. that same day. So if you guys check our Facebook page regularly, you'll be able to see anytime there's a really great deal running through CE Shop. And then through Superior, we have a long-standing 30% off no matter what form of education you're going for or courses you're looking for. And again, not only just for your use, guys, you can share these at any point in time. And sometimes it's great, just that's a way to get your foot in the door to have conversations about adding them to your downline or having them name you as a sponsor. There's plenty of opportunity just from sharing and loving on people. So that really covers the bulk of this website. The only other two things I will mention before we jump over to that next site, unless anyone has any questions. The first thing is if you click on that Facebook icon, it will take you right to that main Facebook group that we talked about at the beginning. So that's probably the easiest way to get there. And the last thing I like to share with you guys is I need tech help. You click on that I need tech help button, it will take you directly to Jules and Leah's calendar so you guys can schedule 30 minutes of time with them to go ahead and meet, whether that's to ask them. And now I'm the only one, so I'm just gonna boop. I don't want to see myself on the screen. So when you guys reach out to them, it allows you to book time on their calendar. You can reach out to them. Maybe it's about something specific, like, hey, I want to build my Facebook page. I just don't know really how to do that. They'll help you with that. You also could meet with them just to say, hey, I'm brand new. I wanted to get to know you guys and ask you what are the top 3 things I should work on right now. And they'll be able to give you that information. Or if you guys are at a point of growth in your business where you are ready to leverage elements and no longer take care of them yourself, they do offer packages as well where you guys can meet and discuss what it would be like if Jules and Leah took care of all of that for you. So they do offer a social media package being a prime example. They can create listing and buyer presentations. They can do so much for you guys. They can put people on smart plans. They are phenomenal. So whether it's teaching you guys how to do it yourselves for free or asking them, hey, can I pay you and have you do it for me? They can do just about everything. And their knowledge base for KW technology is so extensive. They actually both have a background with Scott Leroy marketing. So they have just as much knowledge as Scott Leroy and then some. So please utilize them, guys. You can book 30 minutes of time to meet with them for free just using this calendar. And it looks like they even have appointments right now today or in, in an hour and a half today. So if you guys even wanted to book today, you have that opportunity, but it's very easy. You can click on it. And then when you've moved on, it'll ask you for your name, your email. You can specify what you're meeting about. And then you can also say, do you want to meet here or did you want to meet on Zoom? They have that option. So keep them posted on how they can help you. They want to make sure you guys are loving your technology and utilizing it to the fullest because it can do so much for you. So in short, I know that was a lot still. That is kwbresources.com. Does anybody, and now that especially it's just in person, do you either of you have questions specifically about this site that maybe weren't already covered? Or are we feeling okay so far? Feeling okay? All right, good. Well, that's good. I know it's a lot of information. So, more than anything, just as a talking piece, when you have an opportunity, the best recommendation I have is just slowly work your way back through the site on your own at your leisure. Try to walk yourself back through everything we looked at today just to help keep it ingrained in your brain on where to find it. But of course, if you have any questions whenever you have an opportunity to do any of that, just reach out to me via email and I will get you back to you as soon as I can so you know exactly where to find things. The last thing I like to show you guys is actually through mykw.kw.com. And mykw.kw.com is going to be one of those Keller Williams platforms that you will utilize from time to time. And the reason specifically I'm sharing it with you is because this is how you guys, again, minimal energy, big impact. You guys can reach out to every agent in our office through an email blast, basically at the touch of a button, which is really cool. So it's mykw.kw.com. And when you guys arrive at the site, it's going to ask you obviously to log in. If you're like, whoa, what is that? These are the same credentials that we created when we met together to finalize your onboarding. So it should be very easy for you guys to log right in because you'll already know them. It's what you use for command. Once you've logged into the website, the big thing, and again, I'll show you just really this for now. The white pages is just so you have that information. Is the white pages happens to be an internal search engine for Keller Williams. So if you ever needed to look up someone's contact information, you could search their name in this and get their contact info. If you're ever looking for agents out in Chattanooga, you could just search Chattanooga and any agents in that area will come up. So it's just an easy way for you to get connected with another KW agent pretty simply, whether they're in our office or not. But what I'm actually here to show you guys is going to be this My KW MC350 intranet at the very bottom right corner here. If you click on this quick link, it's going to take you to basically what looks like a very similar library to the CE shop. Lots of posts that you can see right here with various different things and information. A lot of them will end up being me, guys. It's just talking about different trainings. So sorry about that. I hope that's something you're excited about. When you guys are in here, though, and you're ready to make your own email blast, essentially, this is where you can find any email blasts you received. We'll start there. So if you receive an email blast from me or from another agent, you're like, ooh, I want to hear more about that. You could log directly into this website, go to this particular screen, and you can find a lot of those posts right here. If you're noticing it's not showing in this quick list, you can search keywords. That's a big part of it. But the big thing is if you hit add a post, this is where you guys will create your own. You hit add a post, you will not have this option. This would be grayed out. You will use the associate post option. If you select associate post, you can even designate a channel just to kind of categorize what you're talking about. It doesn't change the visibility for anybody unless they were trying to filter just based off of that channel. Agent announcement will always be the most general. So if it's not an open house or it's not a vendor or something like that, that's probably the one you'll use. But when you click on agent announcement, what I will tell you is you'll have 100 characters to create a post title. That 100-character post title is going to be the subject line of the email that will come through to me, to any other agents in the office. You guys can include a link as well if you're trying to connect them to a site or additional information of any kind. You can also upload a PDF or a JPEG. I believe it's just one file. So if you have multiple pictures you're trying to put together, I would say put them all together in like a combined PDF and then upload the PDF that way. That way they can see multiple files, but really only one file. So you can upload files as well. And then in this post blurb, you'll have 190 characters, which I know is not much. So create one or two quick sentences in that post blurb, and that will come through as the body of your email. So you'll have subject line as your post title, and this is the body. The biggest thing is obviously 190 characters might not be enough room. It's never enough room for me. I'll tell you that right now. So what I always do is I hit the add full post button right below. This allows you to type freely as much information as you need to include. And once you have typed everything that you're happy with, all you have to do is hit the publish post button and it will work its way to everyone's inbox in the next couple minutes. Before you do publish the post, if you've used this full message box, I would encourage you guys to make some wiggle room in your post blurb so that you can make a note at the very end that just says see full post or something to indicate that there's more information out there if they click to continue, basically, because you don't want anyone to overlook that just because they didn't know it was there. Because I'll just see. Oh, I am in my email. I am in my email. Um, I want to show you guys just a quick example of why that is based off of what it will look like, because I'm sure you guys will have seen very similar. Gerard, for example, just sent one. So if you're looking at Gerard's, you can see this was his post title, was right here. Or, yep, that was his post title. And then this was in his blurb. And then if you see view full post, you could click that button and that will allow you to see all the additional information he may have included. It looks like he happened to only need that post blurb. But I promise you, if you're clicking on one of mine, there will be a lot more information there. So that's just a quick way to show you guys exactly how you can create your own. Just create an associate post, type in what you need. Again, this is your title, this is your body, this is your free space, and then you hit publish and you're all done. That's all you need to do. I don't think that you guys will receive a copy of the email to your own inbox. So if at any point in time you are wondering, hey, did that successfully go out? Because I'm not sure, you're welcome to always send me an email and say, hey, I just sent out a blurb or a blast. Would you be able to let me know if you got that email? Did it come through? Okay. And I'll be able to let you know right then and there. But that is the very last thing I was going to take your time for today. And I only went like majorly over, but if you guys can forgive me, then we will all be good. But that really is everything, ladies. So any questions about this today? Or we feel good about that quick and easy? Okay, good. Carla, quick. Yeah, of course. Mhm. So they should all be on the calendar. Here and there, I may send one thing that like the region is doing as like a Zoom call that maybe is not on the calendar, but normally everything you see come through as a post blast or as an email blast or a daily digest will be on the calendar. You can use that post in the daily digest and go straight to the post and click to register through that. Or you can go through the calendar, whatever you think is easiest. The daily digest, I believe, obviously it's daily, but it is going to kind of summarize everything that got shared that day, whether it was from me, whether it was from Gerard or another agent. So you'll see like a summary of every post that got made that day in one big email. So that's kind of a nice feature so that you're not individually having to click through everything. But you also should be getting a copy as well of the email just from Gerard, for example, just his post rather than just the Daily Digest. So, mhm, mhm. So So entirely up to you. Daily digest is fine. Also, obviously, the calendar works great because the calendar lets you kind of look over everything. And the reason I say that is because if I'm sending out an email blast because something's happening tomorrow, I might be hitting more on the fact that something's happening tomorrow than talking about the thing 3 weeks from now in that particular day. So if you looked at the calendar, you could see all of it, but I promise you, I will hit on everything multiple times. You'll probably honestly get a little frustrated because it's gonna be like, wow, Liz, I already knew about that class. But there's going to be multiple ways obviously you could look at everything. The other thing is on that Facebook page, make a habit of looking at our Facebook group every day at some point during the day. In particular, from like 1 to 2 o'clock, I am on there and I'm talking about every single training that we've got coming up. I'm sharing like 3 or 4 in a day. And then every Friday afternoon at like 3 o'clock, I also will make a post and I highlight every single training that's happening the following week. So that way you can register to be part of any of those trainings just by looking at one Facebook post. So there's plenty of different ways between the Facebook, your own email address, honestly, or your own email inbox, and with the calendar itself. I don't think you would miss anything. But of course, if you ever feel like you missed something or want to ask any questions, let me know. We'll also talk really good. We'll like highlight specific ones during team meetings. So if you're ever here or online for a team meeting, we'll talk about specific trainings and highlight those then as well. So I promise I will not let you not know about something. You will literally think, oh my gosh, I've heard about the same training 10 times in 10 different ways. So I will make sure you're informed. But any other questions though before I kind of shut everything off? Well, okay then, ladies. Thank you both, obviously, for your time today. I appreciate it. And I was going to say thank you to Raven, but I think she had to jump off a little early.